Hello, hello, my stitchy friends. Welcome back. You found Lala D Stitches. My name is Laura, and I'm so glad you're here with me. It is a very warm, sunny day here in Utah, and it's the perfect time to hide away in my sewing room and film a video. Kind of get you caught up. It's been about 3 weeks since we met, I think. I didn't actually look, but they've been good. I've gotten some stitching done. I kind of obsessed over one project you'll see shortly here, and I've done a lot of hiking. Unfortunately, the mountains bit back this week, and we think I probably tore my meniscus in my left knee, so hiking is on hold for a bit, which is unfortunate because I've been loving getting outside and just for a couple hours, a couple times a week in the morning, and it just feels so good. So I need to find a less active way to do the same thing. Maybe I'll find a good tree to read under or something like that, or bring my stitching to. Anyways, that's aside from the fact. It's a bummer. I have an MRI next week to see where we go from here and just send all the good vibes my way so that we don't wind up a second summer in a row having surgery, because if it is torn, that's where we're headed. So boo hiss, and let's talk about stitching because it's much happier. Okay, I have not one but 2 finishes to share with you. Yes, I'm feeling really good about it. It's been a couple months since I finished something, I think, and so but I've started quite a bit. Well, it's not like outlandish, but I've started at least a few things every month, and so it feels good to tick a couple off the other side of my whip count, if you will. So I started this one. It's called Strawberry Farm from Fossy Flock Shop. This was her April Patreon pattern, and it's what got me into her Patreon because it was so cute. And I think there's some tiers in there, and I think it's tier 2 that gets you access to the monthly pattern. It's like $6. It's not exorbitant at all. It's, in fact, for what this is, it's so cute, and $6 feels like a steal. So thank you for that, Flossy Fox Shop. I started this at the end of April. I think it was like the 29th. I didn't actually write down my start date, but I did it with the called for floss on 28 count linen from Picture This Plus called Zephyr, and it's just been a delight to stitch from start to finish. Oh my goodness, I love it. I'm gonna sing everything because I'm in a good mood, and I'm getting my hair cut today in an hour and a half. So we've got to be efficient here. But so yes, I'm all dolled up. It's a little bit of a spa day for my head. Anyways, Strawberry Farm, so cute. The little strawberry dragon was one of my favorite parts to stitch. I didn't even know there were cute little frogs here eating strawberries until I was actively stitching them. Yeah, I love the kind of cherry blossom pink trees and the little, I always want to call this, I know what this animal is, but I always want to call it a kookaburra, which I know is a bird. I'm aware of this. Oh my goodness. It starts with a C. They're so cute. Anyways, you know what they are. Cute little dudes in the water. It's delightful, isn't it? It's just so much fun. And I have the perfect square frame I found, well, almost perfect square frame I found at a discount store, a thrift store. I just need to spray paint it to something fun, and I'll get this one framed. So, and I'll zigzag the edge. I was too ambitious, well, not too ambitious. I was too excited about stitching this to bother edging my fabric, and so I've got a little bit of fray happening, but I'll zigzag that before I fully finish it. Anyways, so cute, so happy, so done. Yay. So now my little postcard, which has the finish date and all the information, goes into my little file for things I've finished this year, and this will go back in the collection, and yeah, feels really good. Okay, I have been waiting almost a solid week. So I planned on doing this video last week, and then life, and that's okay. But I have something I want to show you that I've been so excited about. I don't even have her pattern here. Who cares? You know what she is. Remember that one time I started Stargazer and then slowly picked away at her? She's done. Oh my gosh. She's had her bath. She's had her press. She's literally ready for a frame. I just have to get it. Also, look at all those beads from that angle. Oh my goodness. That's actually pretty effective. Hundreds of beads. In fact, I was on hold for a minute because I ran out of beads at one point, but here she is. I'm just going to shut up and let you guys look at her for a few minutes. Okay, I can't shut up anymore. Isn't she so beautiful? I am so thrilled. I was very nervous at one point because I switched out colors of beads. I totally, went all extra on this, and all of the DMC is as called for, but the beads are custom to what I wanted, like kind of what I envisioned for her. The only one that is almost exactly like called for are the beads that come along her skirt. And I eliminated, there are some like little magical swooshies on the edges of her skirt, and I eliminated those because I wanted the focus of the kind of magical star swirls to stay up at the top of the design. Down here it looked like she had just transformed, like in Beauty and the Beast or something, into like a princess or something. And I didn't want that. I wanted the focus of the stars to be up in the sky. And then her dress to be glamorous, but a little, understated. In the original, these beads are the same white bead that you use there. And I chose a periwinkle bead that would blend a little bit more. Ow. And then I darkened her skirt and chose a metallic dark bead for her bustle. And then I completely changed this because I figured if I were wearing this dress and it were bustly and flowy and elegant and amazing, and then I had all these beads put along the edge of it, they wouldn't blend in, right? We want them to be a statement. They were originally supposed to be whatever this lighter color was. It's kind of blending in with the fabric, and I didn't want it to look like the fabric was showing through, since I have this golden mystery linen that she's stitched on. I do not know what it is, other than that it is a 32 count. Anyways, it was a huge learning experience. It's the most heavily beaded thing I've done ever, and it is my first full-sized, finished Mira, and I am over the moon excited about her. I'm telling everybody. I'm probably driving people crazy because I'm so excited about her. But, I mean, can you blame me? Anyways, there she is. Beautiful, beautiful. As we've kind of discussed in previous videos, she has very small margins, which I was helped with this fabric over 15 years ago in a shop down in Mississippi. And while the lovely lady was very kind and very helpful, it's not a very big margin. And when I started her, I just went with what I had purchased years and years ago, and not knowing that I would wind up with such slim margins. So what I'm going to do with framing is I'm going to sew some additional fabric around the edges so that I can tighten her. I'll just frame her myself, but I'm going to have to buy a custom frame because she's a unique size, and then I'll have some kind of little mat to create space for the beads, and yeah, so excited. That will be a really fun shopping trip. She's amazing. I'm so excited. Anyways, woohoo! Finishes! Oh, it's warm in here. I swear. So I live in a townhome now, which is great. I love it. But we cannot figure, so if you have any tips, please pass them on, because we cannot figure out why the downstairs is an ice box. We keep our AC, this is the first time we've had AC in our marriage, but then we keep it pretty moderate. We're not dropping it down like low cold, but still the downstairs is an ice box, and upstairs I know there's AC going because I'm not actively sweating just sitting still, but it's like, it's not cool. So if you hear my fan in the background, I tried to tuck it like on the other side of the shelf, far away, but I have to have the air moving up here or it's just pretty warm as the afternoon goes on. Anyways, if you have any tips on how to cool an upstairs that is reluctant to cooling, please let me know. I know that's totally uncross-stitch related, but okay. So Mira May, we were in our last 2 weeks of Mira May, and I had hoped to get a lot of stitching done on my fairy moon here, which looks like this. But I got obsessed with Stargazer, and I thought rather than pouring a bunch of time into a brand new start, maybe because I'm really getting excited about this, I will just ignore all my other plans for Mira's and try to finish Stargazer by the end of the month, which obviously I did. So, I don't know if I have I didn't do any before pictures. Oh my goodness. I'm getting spoiled by this knowing how to edit things. So if I have a before picture, it will have been inserted here. I didn't have a lot done on her and I didn't do a lot more. So this is where she landed. It's the front of her skirt and counting out from the center. That's why this is so funky here is I did a center start and then counted out, and then I'll tackle her big white skirt first before getting into the colors and fun things. But it's a pitiful start. Certainly less than I anticipated, but I am pleased as punch to have Stargazer done. So it's worth it. The payoff was worth it. Anyways, there's my fairy moon start. That's where she ended after Mira May. And that is all the Miras I worked on because I was focused on Stargazer. So I finished Stargazer right at the end of the month, and then we've had about a week where I had intended to video but didn't, and knew that I'd really only worked on 2 or 3 things, and so I was trying to get more variety and giving a bit more time. And I touched a handful of things, but didn't make giant amounts of progress. Anyways, let's stop talking and show you the stitching. So this I pulled out last night. These are not in the order I worked on them in. The Unicorn's Garden, and it's by Sprouting Lupine. It's darling. I saw this on Instagram through Jen's Fiberweb, and she has finished hers. I'm pretty confident she has finished hers. I thought I saw a finish on it. Anyways, it's gorgeous. She has this divine fabric, and I tried to get as close as I could from my stash to what she was using because I loved it. And it's beautiful. I'm not going to complain about it at all. But I also don't know what it's called. It's a 32 count linen. I'm fairly confident it's a Picture This Plus. But all I had it marked with was 32 count linen. I had no color information. Anyways, it's gorgeous though. And showing up a bit washed out. It's a bit richer. The marbling is a bit more subtle in person. Maybe I should put it that way. Still great marbling, but it's lovely. So I finished the tree. Well, I finished up to the top line. So this is the top of the design. Started the addition of one little leaf there, and that's what I did last night. good progress for one evening of rather distracted stitching. We've got a lot of things going on right now in the background of life, and so my stitching time has been perhaps more limited than it has for the first, few months of the year, which is okay. That's kind of the nature of summertime, isn't it? You get busy with family and social events and outdoor events and activities, and it's great and it's good. I'll probably get more stitching time over the next month than I anticipated due to my goobery knee. Anyways, the next one I worked on was, I guess this would technically be a new start. I don't think I had started this when we last saw it. I think I just had it kitted up. So, Flag Flock by Plum Street Samplers. If you want to see it done pretty much like is in the picture, it's gorgeous on Saltbox Stitcher. She did a patriotic parade, and this was among her finishes. And it's darling. And hers is much tinier than mine will be. Let me see if I can find my fabric. Gotta have a little plastic. Sorry. But I do have fabric information here. So I'm doing a color conversion from Stash. I'm trying to keep it pretty close to what is pictured, but I just wanted to work with what I had. So I had this scrap. This is Picture This Plus Feldspar 32 count linen, and I am just using the colors I had on hand that came as close to what is on the picture. So I've got most of my first little sheep done, and our handsome eagle on his back, and then yesterday I got into some of the gold accents, which is exciting. I think my plan of attack with this one will be to go basket and that front sheep, and then like the flag, and then we'll fill in the back sheep and the pineapple and all the little star bits and stuff. I don't know, that's just kind of what I'm thinking. Try to get to some of those fun colors and not just do all of the neutrals this year. I definitely have years where I start things and then I wind up stitching similar colors across all my projects, and that's not very exciting. So maybe if I kind of go different directions on them, I'll get a bit more variety. I love it on the blue so far, though. It's a very neutral kind of gray blue, and it feels very, feels cheerful. I think that's the way to say it, without being wha-bam, in your face. Also, I'm really glad it didn't do some kind of like weird little firework thing or anything. The next one I pulled out was Hello Summer by Plum Street Sampler. I've got a little stack of Plum Streets for summer stitches. This I had started last year. I will post it. I have a before picture for this one. I know I do. And I got quite a bit added onto this one. So this one will be completed this summer for sure, which will feel really good because it's so cute. And I definitely had moments where, as I was stitching this, I was like, oh man, it looks so fresh and clean on their fairly boring, what is the linen called for this? Patriots Brew. Yeah, by R&R Reproductions is the called for. And I definitely went more like parchment, aged, mottled kind of look, but I love it. As I get more colors on it, I love it even more. So I finished my eagle, which I love. That was really fun to get in there. I added the flagpole, this little swirly-do, and then started adding in berries and the beginnings of flowers. I'm not sure yet if I will stitch the words under it. I mean, it's cute. I don't have a problem with it, but I think it could be cute just kind of on its own and then framed. I don't know. We'll see how I feel when those are the last thing to do. and I'm looking at everything all together. Anyways, it's delightful. Quick stitch on this one. It's been really fun. Oh, I am stitching this on, I believe it's 28 count outrageous. I should have a tag in here, I thought. Can I do this without showing any chart? Okay, well, I will confirm that and put it down below, but I'm fairly confident that this is either 28 or 32 count Picture This Plus outrageous. I've stitched other things on it. This is a piece off of whatever else I stitched on it. Anyway, it's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. My English skills are suffering. I am sorry. Okay, this one is a bit of a pitiful thing. I almost didn't show it to you, but I figured I at least put a few stitches into it, so I will. This is Liberty Feather Tree by Thread Milk. It's so cute. This is a new designer to me, and she also has a honeybee tree, which is super cute, and I have that one as well. I just haven't settled on the background fabric for it yet. But it uses it's like the tree itself is like the same colors, and then it's just different accents. So it's a pretty easy one to already be set up to go into the next project with. Sorry, the glare is terrible. My sunshine today is strong, so I was overexposed with the window open, and so I'm working with more lamps than I'd planned on. Anyways, this is the chart Sans the Glare. It's super cute. I love the fireworks. I don't feel like there's a lot of designs that feature fireworks, which is odd because I feel like that's one of the highlights of Independence Day celebrations. So I have a piece of Lakeside Linens Purled Barley, 36 count, and I did a very small start, the first branch. But here's my thing. I started stitching and I pretty quickly was like, I don't know that I don't want to take this down to one strand. Where it's 36 count, I think the coverage would be sufficient. And I'm not sure I'm liking how the stitches look with 2 strands over 2 linen threads. So I stitched this much so I could kind of get a good idea, because 5 to 20 stitches isn't really enough sometimes. And then I just kind of set it on my table to observe as I walk by. And sometimes that helps me. In the moment, I can get caught up in the, dang, I wanted to work on this kind of frustration of it all. But if I just leave it on the table and walk by it a few times, I can kind of get a less emotional analysis of how I actually feel about it. And I do think I'm at the point where I am going to pull out what you see here and restitch it with 1 strand of floss over 2 strands of linen. So I will work on this. It's going to be a quick stitch. It's not labor intensive, but I don't know. I figured it was, it's part of my sewing experience for these last couple of weeks, so I should talk about it, even though it is about to say toodaloo. Okay, my next one was also a new start. This pattern is from this year's Nashville Needlework Market and Plum Street Samplers. Again, I told you it was kind of a Plum Streety lineup. American Welcome. I love, if you can see past the glare, the pelican and the lighthouse in the corner. Those are absolutely what sold the pattern to me. It's just delightful. So, do I have my fabric information? No. Best laid plans, right? Try to be prepared. And then you stumble through life. Kind of guessing. Oh, here we go. 28 count. Picture This Plus Relic. So, this is where we are. It's very golden. But I think it's going to be really pretty once you get all the colors on. So here's one thing I did not notice when I picked this pattern up, is it calls for a kind of floss I have not used before. I'm sure they are delightful. I hear about them on Flosstubes all the time. It calls for, oh heavens to Murgatroyd, mystery floss. One strand of floss over two. Shmurny, shmurny. Oh my goodness. It's like crescent colors or... Oh, there we go. It says at the very bottom. Color and cotton. See, Crescent Colors is Classic Colorworks' old name, as I understand it. Anyways, it calls for color and cotton for it's like a handful of overdyed floss, and the rest is DMC. I have never used them. I did look them up. I was able to find, where did I find them? Anyways, you can find, I think it was their website, in fact, Color and Cotton's website. And I considered purchasing those called for colors because they're featured up in these vines up at the top and the water and the grass. So it's really the greens and the blues and then like a gray and red. Okay, it's a lot of colors. I wound up picking from Stash, so a couple Gentle Arts, and then a couple Classic Colorworks. So I am doing kind of a color conversion. My greens will be a little bit brighter, but they looked really nice on the fabric. So we're going to go for it. That is a very funky start. I'm just going to say, in my defense, I did a center start, which is like this chimney. And I did that. Oh no, I must have started here because I didn't have this color. It's Gentle Arts Garden Gate. And I'd ordered it, and so it was coming, and I started here, and I counted up to there, which was terrifying. I do not like counting long expanses. And then I did the star. And then my garden gate came, so I started to add in, it's like one length of garden gate or something like that, maybe two. Anyways, funky stitching, but it counts. It's a start. For this one, how will I approach this? I have debated back and forth. The water and the grass are definitely the densest stitching. So I think what I might do is get the rest of that phrase in. And then I have, these are the windows. The windows are for this house. I might do this house and maybe that house, and then try to get over to where the water and the grass could be at least outlined and then just filled in. Something like that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I do think I will omit the God Bless the US of A. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just don't like that it's below the solid line. I just kind of want that to be the end of the design. So, you know, brain thoughts. But it will be pretty and fun to work on for the next month. Oh, it's a project bag. I made a couple of project bags, seasonal, just super simple. My dog is laying on the floor down here. She just did a big stretch, and during the whole stretch it was ooh. She's so funny. Okay. Next one I'm very excited to show you. I don't have as much as I had wanted, but it wound up. So I'll show you. Hightide by Rosewood Manor. It's my first Rosewood Manor, and I'm loving it so far. It is very heavily cry-nicked. I briefly exchanged a couple of comments with someone who started this earlier this year, and she switched out the cry-nick for treasure braid, and I kind of wish I'd done that too because it's a goober. But it's a beautiful goober, so we're going to go for it. I also found out that when I kitted this up in Florida, I missed a couple of colors, so I had to pop out to the cross-stitch shop and fill in the colors. So I'm not farther because I was missing colors. But now I have them, and what's the best way to show this? I don't know. We probably want the whole ombre effect showing, huh? center start, which is what is recommended by the pattern, so that you get your motifs in the right part of the ombre dye job. This is the called for fabric. It's called Midnight Mermaid by Under the Sea Fabrics. And now that I say that out loud, I realize this is my first time using Under the Sea Fabrics. And how appropriate with their name that I would be stitching under the sea creatures. I love it. It's so pretty. That turtle is so sparkly and fun. And I'm assuming this is like a little barracuda or something. He's a funky guy. And then, I don't know how well the sparkle will show, but all of this, what looks gray, is Cryonic. Actually, it kind of looks white with the shine. It's like a gray-blue in person. Anyways. This is a beginning of a good example of how different the picture looks from the reality of the project. If I had seen the picture, I would have been like, oh, that's really cool. Pass. But I saw the sample in the shop down in Florida, and oh my goodness. I turned around and said, is there any chance that you have that fabric and that pattern and that floss? And because I want it just like that. And she said, yes, I do. It's all ready to go. Merry Christmas, Laura. Happy summer. And so I got it, and it was very fun. So we started right in here. I think I'm trying to decide, do I want to go down and then finish in the sky, or do I want to go up and then work my way down? I don't know. We'll see what happens. It'll be a surprise. I'm so ready for summer stitching. I've been really enjoying, as scattered as it has kind of felt some days, because I'll sit down after a busy day and I'm like, oh man, I don't even know. Like, I'm not deep enough into anything I have pulled out right now that I'm super enthused. That's not the right way to put it. Whoa. Slippery little devil. I think I wanted to work on Hightide, and I was on hold due to supply shortage and or not processing things clearly enough when I was buying supplies rather. And I don't know, I just kind of bounced all over the place. But it was fun. I really am enjoying summer stitching. So that's everything I touched as far as other than our Sal in praise of pollinators by the Blue Flower. Hashtag Pollinator Sal on Instagram. We started this April 30th, and we're working on part 2. I've already seen people done with it, and I'm highly impressed, you guys. Like, wow, you're amazing. I am not done with part 2, but I have a solid start. I would say I'm probably between 40 and 60% the way through, because I've got the rest of my cute little lemur, a couple of blooms, and then our last little flower here to do. So it's the flower and our little honey possum, and that's part 2. So, and if you want to see the whole thing as it stands, it's so cute. Pretty fun. So I did have a couple comments. I just wanted to address this real quickly. That I forgot to stitch the hummingbird. And arguably, you could say, yes, I did. But I also didn't. So, I intentionally did not stitch the hummingbird. I accidentally circled it when I posted on Instagram in month 1. So that's kind of what happened. I didn't talk about the hummingbird in month 1. I kind of wanted him grouped with his flowers that he would be feeding off of. And so I am not, though. So if you did stitch the hummingbird, don't feel bad, because it's awesome. You're just ahead of the game. He's a cute, fiddly little dude up here. And you just won't have to stitch him later when we get to that spot, and that's great. But I personally am not going to stitch it yet because I have not talked about him. I've not featured him as a pollinator yet, and I don't want to forget to do so because he's stitched out of my original plan, I suppose. So that was my error. I did circle him when I kind of marked up a picture and blew it up and posted it on Instagram. But that was an accident. Anyway, so just so you know, he won't come until later on my project, just so that I don't forget to talk about hummingbirds because they're way too cool to skip. So, but that's where I am, making progress, keeping up. It's been very fun. It's a beautiful project. Okay, set that there. Okay, that's all my stitching. So, what time is it? I've got to make sure. Oh, we're doing good. We're doing good. I mean, I've got stuff everywhere. I've got a project card from one thing and floss from a different project sitting on my desk. It's fine. They'll find their homes eventually this afternoon. Okay. Let me look at my thingamajogger, my notes. I have only the tiniest little bit of haul because I'm trying to be good, and in 2 weeks, my husband has a business trip down in Vegas, and I get to go with him. So I'm going to go find Paradise Stitches. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but I've heard tell of a good cross-stitch shop called Paradise something 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 in Vegas, and I'm going to find it and I'm going to shop it. So I'm trying to be really good. But when I went in to pick up floss for Hightide, I also, or I guess it would have been when I got the patriotic one of these. I'll just put it that way. I picked up the honeybee feather tree by Thread Milk. Super cute. I don't know if she has, let's see. It does say that there's a threadmilkdesign.com. I don't know if she sells on Etsy or not. There's no mention of it. But I know if you called Shepherd's Bush, they would happily send one out to you. So, because I saw them there. That's where I found mine. Yeah, so I picked that up just as a little companion piece. And then I have been eyeballing a pattern from Sweet Land of Liberty for a while. It's this one. And no pattern? Okay, good. Oof. I am going to start that this week because it's so stunning. I'm going to stitch it with the called for silks, which feels very luxurious. But I have a Christmas project going in silk, and I love stitching with the silk. Can I afford to stitch every project with silk? Heck no. There's no way. But I can do a project here and there if they only call for 4. I'm actually eyeballing for, this would be one I'd have to save for, but for the Vanity Sampler by, is it Lila Studio or Hello from Liz Matthews? Hello from Liz Matthews, I think. Anyway, Vanity Sampler, I know that's what it's called. There is an MPI silk conversion on Etsy that I've been looking at, and the colors are so pretty. So maybe for my birthday present or something, I'll buy myself that. I don't know. We'll see. It's hovering around my cart, but I never pull the trigger on it. So I pulled the trigger on this instead, and I'm so excited to start it. Isn't it gorgeous? Isn't it beautiful? I also love, see, this isn't chart, right? No, this was interesting to read. It was good. From a letter from John Adams to Abigail Adams. It was good. Anyways, I like historical little letters and stuff like that. So, but one thing I love about this is, so the phrase, well, I guess it's called Salute to Abigail, but due to just the kind of time era of John Adams and all of this, it's cool that the flags correlate with the time period. So the original 13 colonies, I think, is what that flag is. Yes, yes, she did good. 13 stars. And I think that's really cool that it's, and then it's got 1776, and what else does it say? A. Adams, so Abigail Adams, and then the alphabet with America. Anyways, I like it. I think it's beautiful. I'm excited to stitch it. It's going to be amazing. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. I'm going to be stitching it on 36 count prairie grass from Seraphim Linens. And I saw this piece and I was like, oh, that's it. It's so gorgeous. Yum, yum, yummy. I need to cut it down though. It's too big. Because the project only finishes 9 1/4 by 9 1/2. So, I mean, this is giant, but yay. So that'll be my one new start this month. And everything else I'll work on what I showed as far as unfinished things. And then I do have a couple of summery, oh, my hair is in my face. I can hardly wait to get it trimmed. Couple summery bee projects that are whips, and those will be really fun to pull out. And I want to pull out Garden Alphabet again because it's like, this is when the gardens grow full bore, right? Yeah, so I'll kind of bounce around with what feels good, but with like a generalized summer palooza theme, and yeah, it'll be good. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I think that's what I've got for you, my friends. Did I miss anything? Like, I'm filing through my brain right now. I don't think so. I think everything else that's happening in here is quilting related. Wink, wink. So we go to Vegas the last week of the month. So I'll do another Flosstube before then, and then I am going to do a quilting bee on the 16th if all goes to plan. I'm hoping, it was always the plan to do my quilting bees on the 16th. And I'm thinking like life might be settling down enough, a year later, that I can actually follow through with that schedule. And I definitely have fun things to share, because when it's 93 degrees outside and I turn into like a melty puddle, anything above 85, this is the room I want to be in. So lots is happening, and it's fun, and it's good. And I hope your summer is starting out delightful. I know technically the start of summer hasn't happened, but Memorial Day kind of flips the switch in my head for me. We usually have our first camping trip, which we did, and it was delightful. Unfortunately, my husband's fishing rod decided to be a goober of magnificent proportions, and so fishing was pretty much unpleasant. But the hiking was good. The s'mores were delicious. The fire was crackling. Gracie snoozed on quilts, and it was so nice to just step away from everything for a while. I hope we can go again in July if I don't have surgery on my stupid knee. You have to be healthy, knee, because I want to climb more mountains. Oh my goodness, this hike was totally worth messing up my knee for. We wound up hiking up a literal rivery, waterfall-y trail. It was so gorgeous. Oh my gosh. I'm enjoying early summer. Late summer is hard for me. It's too hot, but I love the early days of summer. It's very exciting and fun, and I hope all is well with you. I hope you get tons of stitching time in, and I will see you in a couple weeks, my friends. Happy stitching.